think, what did you like in the video? It could be anything, whether you liked or whether you feel, this could have been better or this is not right in the video. Okay, so three options I'm giving you. One, either you put, what did you like in the call? Second is, what could have been better? Or the third option is you say, this is not correct, or this is wrong, what the person is doing in the call. So out of three, only one thing I need to put I would request all of you to put in the chat box. Let us start with the video. To start with,
stocks that had huge upside potential with very little downside risk. Does that ring a bell? Okay, great. Well, reason for the call today, John, is something just came across my desk, John. It is perhaps the best thing I've seen in the last 6 months. If you have 60 seconds, I'd like to share the idea with you. You got a minute? Name of the company, Aerotime International. It is a cutting-edge, high-tech firm out of the Midwest, awaiting imminent patent approval on the next generation of radar detectors that have both huge military and civilian applications. Now, right now, John, the stock trades over the counter at 10 cents a share, and by the way, John, our analysts indicate it could go a heck of a lot higher than that. Your profit on a mere $6,000 investment would be upwards of $60,000. Exactly, you could pay off your mortgage. John, one thing I can promise you, even in this market, is that I never ask my clients to judge me on my winners. I ask them to judge me on my losers because I have so few. And in the case of Aerotime, based on every technical factor out there, John, we are looking at a grand slam home run. 4,000, that'd be 40,000 shares, John. Let me lock in that trade right now and get back to you with my secretary with an exact confirmation. Sound good, John? Great. Hey, John, thank you for your vote of confidence, and welcome to the Investor Center. Bye-bye.
Yes. I hope this time the video was visible and it was audible. So yes, can I quickly have what is your take on this video? A one-liner, one word, please. Let's start with that. Now, so that we get to know that what is your thought about this particular video. Positive, very professional approach of conversation, very confident, and then to read a few more negative, misleading facts provided to get business. Okay. Yes. Anything else? Okay, good penetrative approach. Yes. What next? Is there anything? Oh, great. Yes, he owned the call. Very well said. He owned the call. Very confident. Very confident, but fake commitment. Yes. So, thank you all for your comments on the call. So, voice stress. Okay. So basically, if we look at this call, yes, it is a street smart sales. But then, as we go and see this call, a lot of such things happen with us also, right? When we see in this call, there are certain things, that we can say, yes, these are right things. But then, there are a lot of scope of improvement. Right, he was verbally and physically. So basically, he was involved in the call. Right, he was aware. He was, very well a part of that call. Right, sounding with conviction. Exactly. So there was a complete coordination between his mind, his words, and his action. Right. In fact, one thing that I was also looking forward, which unfortunately did not come here, if currently we see the slide that is there on the screen, the image that is there on the screen, if you look at his dressing as well, right, matlab he clearly stands apart from the entire crowd. Just look in the background of, just look all the other employees of the organization versus him. So it is like, he has the capacity to stand out of the box and make everybody look at what he is doing, right? Going further, let us also see that, what this particular video is teaching us. There are a lot of things that we can pick from this call. Now, the point here is, we might say, till the time I'm getting business, everything is good. But more than and me, you all will agree, this doesn't happen this way. So let us quickly take a look. Okay, yes, the voice and a voice artist and performer. Yes, somebody said that definitely, because I told you there was a lot of coordination between the mind, tongue, and his body language, right? And this is nothing. The confidence that he's getting, the confidence he's showing to talk on the call is possible only when there is a coordination between your mind, your words, and your body language. Now, this plays a very vital role whether you are on call with somebody or you are meeting personally face to face, right? These three things are very, very important. Connections right away. How did he build the connection? Can anybody tell me? Okay, there were certain things that he spoke about, and he automatically forced the customer to, in fact, there was a customer who bought a connection there while he was talking about the gains and the losses. Can anybody tell me वो connection कहाँ से आया? How did he make the client connect to his needs? When he said your 6,000 becomes 60,000 rupees or $60,000, okay, the client automatically, excitement ko, he took it at that level where the client was forced to just think about, okay, oh my God, from 6,000 to 60,000, I can pay off my mortgage, right? The guy in the call did not do that. Right? But the way he was communicating, he forced the client to think that how investment with him will help him take care of the mortgage. Right? Exactly. He exactly know what is the, so Dharni says he exactly know what is the need of the customer. Exactly need to nahi pata thi, but then, he made it in such a way that the client started thinking, yes, this is my need, and if I do this, I can straight away, take care of, my home loan can be taken care of. Postcard asking penny stocks, perfect. In fact, if you also see the kind of image that he had created for his organization, for his office versus the office that was shown as two different, they were pole apart, right? But the image that was created was like very good. The promising hook, yes, of course. Now here there is a debate. The promising hook is yes, that the company is doing very good. His stocks, the penny stocks will give him out of the box return. Okay, but then that is what holded the client. Yes, he seeked for the permission. Scripting for success, very, very important, guys. And what do you think? What did he say? When it came to measuring the success. You all saw the video. What did he say? How did he gathered, or how did he attracted clients' confidence in him? Can you tell me? There was one statement that he gave. Can anybody tell me what is the statement that he made? I'll give you a hint also. He said you can speak to my clients, okay? Don't talk about my success, but always speak about my failures because I have very few of them, right? The moment, so we need to think, when we are talking about scripting, be it on call or whether you are meeting the person, the scripting is very, very important, guys, right? I don't want, maybe, we can definitely give an interesting long scripting also, but then you need to see what are the value adds while we are talking. We need to see, or we need to be careful of the words where once the customer listen to that words and he feels yes, that this person, this man or this lady is going to do value add in terms of finance in my life. Okay, it could be in terms of finance, it could be in terms of knowledge, anything. But if we find that value add happening, the automatic buying is created, and that is what is needed in our scripting as well. Okay, enthusiasm, creating urgency was there, definitely, because the moment he said, that this is the time for you to invest, your 6,000 might go up to 60,000 rupees, automatically the urgency was created because the customer said, if this happens, my mortgage can be taken care of, and everybody would like to get off their mortgages as soon as possible. Dream visualization was there, definitely it was there. Building trust, yes. In fact, building trust, I would also like to say, the kind of profile that he was creating for himself, that yes, my secretary will get in touch with you and we'll start off with this trade, welcome to the organization, etc., etc. So there's a lot of trust building that we do. unfortunately what happens is, even in this call also, I don't know, what will happen later, but when I talk about building trust, I feel this is not a one time activity. This is something, that we need to do on a regular basis, right? Rapport building is not a one time activity. This is something, which keeps on continuing over a period of time. Every time, the rapport building has to be in such a way that when you call up your customer, okay, he shouldn't be feeling, okay, boss, since I'm getting the call, I don't want to answer, because somewhere back of my mind, that point is there, okay, if I answer your call, you will ask me to do some investments. So the rapport should be in such a way that anytime you just try to ring the customer, and customer just picks up the calls and he knows you by your name, okay, hi, how are you, I'm fine, that is a kind of rapport building that we need to build up with our customers. Now, these were certain good parts of the call. When we say, is there any scope of improvement? So yes, there's a lot of scope of improvement here as well. Okay, lack of subtlety was there, definitely. These actions were very loud, right? Though it was matching, but the actions were loud. We actually cannot do this loud action in front of the customer, be it on call or in personal meeting. Lack of integrity, yes, definitely. There was a lot of fake commitments. There were a lot of misleading information about the company as well. Right? So lack of integrity, lack of subtlety, false commitment, too much body language, everything was there. But then, as I always keep saying this, to whomever I met, whenever we keep meeting people, or whenever we go through any trainings, or whenever we listen to somebody, so there might be 100 things that people are talking about. Okay, what do I need to do? I need to have that filtration. Whatever is good for me, I pick it up, and whatever I feel this is not making sense to me, I discard that. Okay, so that filtration is very, very important. Filtration, once the filtration is done, whatever I have adapted, whatever I've picked it is very, very important that I start implementing it in my daily life. Now, every week, every month, you guys have some or the other trainings, right? But then the point is, what we need to see is from every training, okay? Please listen to me carefully here. From every training, even if I try to implement 5 to 10% of whatever I have learned, guys, do this for a period of at least 6 months. And then you will see the trajectory for yourself that, what are the changes that you have done in 6 months? Where have these changes led you? Okay, not more, only 5 to 10%. And I am sure every training you will have at least 2 to 3 takeaways. Takeaways ho jate hain, we do have the takeaways, but then what happens is we miss onto implementing it. So the implementation part is very, very important. If you want to see the change in, let's say, 6 months period, or an 8 months period, or a 12 months period, okay, you need to keep adding to your list. Okay, yahan se maine ye seekha tha. These are the 2 points that I'm going to implement. Implement over a period of time, guys. You will be surprised to see that yes, it becomes a part of your life, it becomes a part of our life. Then there is no more, after, let's say, a month or so, wherein consciously I am implementing it. After it becomes a part of my life. Then it is there. Then I need to add few new things consciously. And then maybe after 6 months, 8 months, 12 months, I need to see my journey. Kahan the and abhi hum kahan hai. Very, very important, guys. So today, we are going to, when we talk about the calls, we are going to see the calls in 3 stages. First stage is, before the call, what are the things that we need to do before the call, certain things that we need to take care of during call, and then what do I do post call. Now, when I talk about these things, okay, these things can be done on a telecalling mode, as well as when I meet people offline, both. Okay, so let us go ahead and start and see what are the most important thing, okay, before the call, the appreciations and the preparations. Okay, so here let us see the physiological and the psychological angle. Okay, what are the things important to create that impact? Okay, to make people think, yes boss, I'm looking forward to listen to this person. What are those things? How do you set a platform for yourself? Voice is the most important asset that we all have, guys. Because the first thing when I start conversing with the customer is my voice, right? If my voice is not confident, yeah. So when we have to talk about the voice, while we are talking with the customer, be it again in personal or offline, there are certain things that we need to keep in mind, okay? Because every call that we do, okay, there's a lot of contribution from the body. And when I say this, the first and the most important point is the vocal cords and the body language. Okay. Now when we go and talk to the customer, trust me, guys, in maximum cases, still we have seen this, just because many a time what happens is when I talk to somebody, okay, my voice is not sounding confident. Okay, I am little nervous. Okay, and trust me, no matter how many years we spend in the industry, there are times wherein we are like really worried, really nervous when talking to somebody. Why does that happen? Can you tell me? How many of you honestly say ki, yes, there are times when I am nervous talking to somebody? Yes. Is there anybody? If yes, please put it yes or no. Because for me also, I've been doing sessions like what for 13 years now. When I say, I've spoken to more than 80,000 to 1 lakh people, but still, trust me, today also there are points, when I know I have to take a gathering. Many a times I am nervous. Okay, possibility could be I am going and meeting the tax consultants, the CA. So I definitely know when it comes to domain knowledge, they are very high as compared to me. But then how do I control that? Yes, at that point of time I am pretty nervous, and trust me guys, it is an honest confession. It is an honest confirmation. So what do we need to do in such situations? The thing that I have been doing is I know one thing, though no matter who my audience is, okay, but then the entire control is in my hand, because I know what am I going to present there. Right, I have an idea of what am I going to present, so I have to be pretty sure with my content. Trust me guys, this many year experience, still if I have to deliver any session which I have delivered for more than 100 times also, I will still open my presentation, I'll go through all these slides and make sure that everything is in place. And that is what something that adds to my confidence. Vocal cords, very very important guys. Many a time what happens is if we are stressed, our cords actually show that. मेरी आवाज में वो आपको पता चल जाएगा. You can see it in my body language. Right, body language, you must have attended so many sessions on body language. Why is it important? When there is nervousness, there's a lot of sweat, our palms sweat, sweat on the forehead, right? These are certain things that we need to control, right? And trust me, if you know your subject very well, these things won't happen. These things literally won't happen. One thing that we need to keep taking care of is our vocal cords. Since we are into the business where we meet number of customers throughout the day, guys, if we have like 10 hours of working, at least 8.5 to 9 years, we are constantly talking. So it is very very important to keep yourself hydrated all the time. It is important that you keep sipping water, right? So very basic thing, but you will see how this thing adds it just glorifies your vocal cord, and that is the most important thing. Next, another barrier is the language. How many of you feel that yes, language is a barrier? Maybe I'm confident with my local language, but many a times what happens, guys, we all know English is an universal language, but many a times I feel maybe I'm not that confident in English, right? At that point of time, again, what happens is that nervousness is there, right? My language fluency is not there. So that is something that we need to control. We need to work on it. Any language, guys, that we really need to work on it. Very simple way to learn any language. For an example, English, if you feel, or if, and see, language is something like that, what local languages, what you and I speak is a mediocre thing, right? Then we meet people who are like, when it comes to language, and if we have to rate them, they are probably 9.5 or 10 on a language, wherein we are struggling at 7 or 8, right? So the best way to learn a language, especially if it is English, very, very simple. There is no need to join any personality development classes and pay thousands of rupees on that. Very simple exercise, guys, every day take a magazine, take a newspaper, and at least read it out loudly for at least 15 to 20 minutes. If I can do that, nothing less than that. And always remember, while you're talking, pauses are very, very important, guys. If I miss out on 2 pauses, what happens is, there are a lot of filters. There are a lot of fillers that we need to add. Now, the reason why we need these fillers is because there is a point where there's a loss of connection between the mind and the tongue. When these things happen, when this connection is broken, we need fillers at that point of time, wherein have to sound like maybe like this, or it could be possibility that I keep on repeating the word. So to avoid such things, the best thing is like take a pause. Another important way how pause helps us is, when I take a pause while listening, while somebody is talking, I also take a pause. It gives the assurity to the person that yes, I am listening to you. So pause has too many benefits of it. That is something we need to practice in our life. Now, the next thing, when we talk about vocal cords, okay, the another thing that comes into the mind is the prosody or the tonality. So what does prosody or tonality means? Can anybody tell me? What do you think prosody is? Have you ever heard of this? Yes, a quick one on the chat box, please. What do you think prosody is? By the time you guys answer, I'll just admit a few of the participants that are waiting in the meeting room to attend the session. Okay, I have admitted almost all of them. Yes. Coming back to tone of speech. Okay. So yes, many a times we feel, right, two people are saying the same thing, but we feel like, somebody's like, yeah, somebody's making sense to me while the other person is not making sense to me. Though the words that are being used are absolutely same, but the tone in which it is being said makes the entire difference. Going back to our childhood days, guys, mother and father, both of them saying the same thing, but we always feel कि नहीं, मम्मी सही बोल रही है. What mummy is saying is making sense. Dad is always rude. He is always harsh. He doesn't know that what I like. Right? It is just because of the tonality. There are so many customers who are irate, and we feel like, what do we do? How do I handle this customer? Right? But the point is, you must have heard this many a time. Okay, if the customer is irate, it is very, very important that, first let him vent it out. And you guys are there in the market, you must have seen this. When the customer actually vents out all the frustration, all the complaints that he had with somebody earlier than you, what happens is, at the end of the entire conversation, there are people who might also come ahead and apologize that, listen, I am sorry, I was angry, not on you, but on the services that were offered by the previous guy, and I showered all my anger onto you, and I'm sorry. But post that, you see the kind of rapport building is done after that. It is a very different. When I say prosody, tonality, yes, words also add more value to it. It is very, very important that I should have the talent to play with the words. Very interesting. When I say playing with the words, I don't intend to say that you need to have all those high funda jargons. No, I don't intend to use jargons at all. What is important is, as a customer, as a client, I need to connect to what you're saying. If there's a lot of jargons, okay, if there are a lot of high-end terminologies that you're using and I'm unable to understand that, okay, there will always be a gap between what you want to tell me and what I'm understanding. So always try to keep it simple, always try to use positive words. These days, guys, we all are using Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, and 10 other social media sites, right? It is very, very important that we try to pick the right things from here. Okay, use of positive words. Anything that I want to say, okay, rather than saying it, I'm sorry I kept you waiting. The best way is, thank you for waiting for me. Right? There is no negativity. In fact, you are appreciating somebody. So words will add a lot of value to it. Words will actually, it will be like, icing on the cake. The prosody plus the positive words. It is a perfect icing on the cake. The next thing that contributes to our call, apart from the vocal cords, body language, prosody, tonality, is the most important thing which is missing in today's world, guys, which is mindfulness and awareness. Out of what, how many people are there in the call right now? Let me just check. I think, yeah, there are almost 223 participants, guys, who are right now in this call. But I can bet you the percentage of people who are actually focused right now only on the presentation will not be 100% participation, because that is the problem that we are facing these days. Okay, when it comes to mindfulness, like, it is all about being in the present, but that is what is missing in our today's life, right? We are there with a group of friends, whom we are meeting, like, maybe, after ages, but then our entire conversation is on the telephone, on this mobile phone. Yes, mobile phone is definitely a boon, but in many cases it acts as a villain also, right? In the evening, when you're going back home, your mom is waiting, mother is waiting, boss, my kid is coming after a hard day at work. She so much wants to talk to it, but we enter the house like this. We are in a meeting, missing out on the important points because our entire focus is on the mobile phone, on the WhatsApp. So even, when we talk about social media or usage of phone, it is also important that we restrict. Okay, we restrict because this is something that definitely impacts my productivity, guys. There are so many times morning when you enter the office, it is said, right? Fresh morning, you put your mind at work and you will have a high level of productivity. But unfortunately, what we see these days is the moment you enter the office, everybody is in their mobile phones, either on Instagram, Facebook, blah blah blah, or nothing but the shopping apps. Right, so these are good stress busters, but unfortunately what we are doing is we are creating a lot of stress because of this. Many a time while we are sitting with the customer, the mobile phone is there on the table. The moment the light blinks in the mobile phone, what happens is my entire focus from the conversation with the client moves on to see this, okay, what has come on my mobile phone, right? Many a time, the only excuse we can give is, any senior ka phone hai, I have to take it. Right? But then what we need to do is we need to set a rule. If I am with the customer, give your 100% focus to the customer, and he definitely, it is like, it is his right to have your 100% focus, because he is somebody, who is handing over his hard-earned money to you. And the logic is pretty simple. If you cannot give me half an hour, okay, how will you take care of my money? From where will that confidence come? I am here as a customer giving my full support onto what you have to offer me. But then don't keep it materialistic. You need to build on that rapport, and trust me, rapport will build up only if, while you are in front of the customer, get involved into conversations. That is the most important thing, because if I don't get involved into conversations, I will never get to know my customer. Unless you don't make the customer talk, you will not get to know your customer. And trust me, making a customer talk, being comfortable with you, is something difficult. It takes time. So, it is very, very important that I have to be mindful of what I'm doing. Okay. Because if I'm mindful, I don't have to repeat my questions. If I listen to the customer properly, I can do the right kind of probing to know him more better, to know, what is his requirement. I will be able to first of all identify his personality, and then align my personality with the customer's personality, so that we both come onto a same table and take the discussion ahead. If there is a connect, going forward, we'll have a lot of hurdles. Mindfulness awareness is one thing which will help you eradicate all the hurdles, guys. Okay. Now when I talk about mindfulness, there is one very interesting concept that we have been talking of. So now here when I talk about mindfulness, have you ever heard of, now you must be thinking now, what is Meenakshi trying to say us, like now you are talking about mindfulness, prosody, maintaining your vocal cords, and then suddenly we see on our screen there is a photo of, there's an image of a goldfish. What am I trying to say this? Have anyone of you heard about the goldfish syndrome? A very interesting thing, which is known as goldfish syndrome. How many of you have heard about it? Anybody? Okay. So, yes.
Basically, the goldfish syndrome is the attention span of goldfish is supposed to be less than average Instagram user.
Average. Okay, so you are comparing it directly to the Instagram user. I like that. So yes, it is all about the attention span of goldfish. Okay, now let me tell you, कुछ समय पहले तक, some time ago, as per the some survey in US, okay, goldfish is one of the living things on the earth which has the least attention span. Okay, and it was of 12 seconds. It was of 12 seconds. Can anybody tell me, where are we humans when it comes to attention span? Anybody? So goldfish का तो पता चल गया. Now we know for goldfish it is 12 seconds. And this was few years ago. And that time, and let me give you a hint, that time we humans were better than them. What is the current attention span of humans? We are somewhere at 9 seconds. When it comes to the attention span, we are somewhere at 9 seconds. Bhardwaja, I think, we are expecting a lot from ourselves. 20 seconds is too much. Yes, Mrityunjay, 8 seconds, we are almost near to what I am saying, which is approximately 9 seconds. Now, when Kanu said, there is one very interesting word that he used, mindless. So that is what we guys are doing these days. This mindless scrolling of Instagram, mindless scrolling of Facebook, Snapchat, etc., etc. But let me tell you one thing. I have something to encounter with the attention span of humans also. Now, for us humans, okay, our attention span is like, very subjective. Okay? It is very subjective. Now, anything, there are situations, I'm nowhere saying, that it is same in all the cases. Okay, many a times what happens is, I forget what the customer has asked me, maybe, anything possible. Okay, send me koi fact sheet, account statements, etc., etc. And we say, okay, by the end of the day, we'll send him, and that, it completely misses out. And then what happens is, when do we remember about this? That I was supposed to send a fact sheet to that particular customer. It is, when next time I have to talk to him or I have to go and meet him, that is the time I remember, oh God, he had asked me for a fact sheet which I completely forgot. Now the reason why I said, for us, this attention span is very subjective. It is as per our convenience. Guys, what about the Netflix series, the Hotstar series, and the Amazon Prime, this series that we see? I have seen people remembering four seasons also. The Sacred Games, that some other everything that is happening. Somehow I feel I am blessed that I am not more of a TV or a mobile person. So I feel, yes, I am blessed. Okay, but then I have, and then the certain thing that has actually trended is this binge thing. I do binge watching, and it sounds like really cool. But then what happens is, in this entire race of sounding cool, our brain forgets on to listing or to prioritizing ki important kya hai. Right? What happens is, if I have to ask you, okay, like, give me your top 3 customers for last 6 months, month-wise, top 3 customers for last 6 months, it will be difficult for us to remember. Right? Or if I have to tell you, okay, give me like 10 names of your people who have more than 50 lakh of investment with us. It is difficult for us. Why? We have to think about it. But wahi pe we say, okay, tell me a particular story about this. Because what happens is the audios and the visuals, we remember more. वो brain को frame उस तरीके से किया, but then, there has to be some conscious efforts that we need to do. So that is where my mindful So that is where my mindfulness, my awareness plays a very, very important role, guys. I hope this is clear going forward. Let us see. We have already spoken about it. Okay, I'll come to a very vital weapon that is required. Now, this is important both for my online meetings, for my telecalling meetings, and for my personal meeting also, the script. Okay, so what is the script basically? As I always say, playing with word is an art. Now, there are various tools that we have, okay, on the platforms, on the social media platform, which we can use for improvising on a daily basis. So there is one very interesting app which is known as dictionary app. Okay, I quite a time I use that app because that is something very interesting. What it does is, first of all, any word, okay, which I don't understand, okay, I quickly try to find out the meaning, and then I try to use the same word in my conversations. Okay, but then this is one of the app which gives me at least 2 new words every day, which are pretty simple, pretty easy to understand, but it is just that we are not aware of those words. Now when we talk about the script, playing with words is very, very important, guys. Very, very important. Another thing, while we are going and talking to the customer, our own introduction is the most vital thing. Definitely, it is the first comes the way I present myself, and then comes the introduction. So when I present myself, especially if you, so when you are on call, your voice is like the tool that can create a first impression for you. While you are in a one-to-one meeting with a customer, your dressing and your appearance is your tool to create that first impression on that particular person, right? Because if I go to the customer, I'm well dressed. I'm well-dressed, not overdressed. Now, when I say well-dressed, I don't intend to say that, you should wear high branded clothes. No, I don't intend to say that. What I intend to say is you should be dressed elegantly, to create that impression, neat, tidy. Now, many a time you must be thinking, what Meenakshi is talking about this. We do that, right? But trust me, guys, so many years in the industry, and I have still seen people wearing a checkered pant and a checkered shirt, a checkered pant and a stripes wala shirt. Right? So that color combinations, the textures also plays a very, very important role. These days, I see females wearing capris to the office. Capris is not at all a formal. Somewhere I think we females also, we really take advantage of this, because there's like no defined formal dressing for, it is defined, okay, but then for us, we try to just fix up everything in the formal wala category. So the dressing is very, very important, guys, whenever you go and meet a customer. Once the customer looks at you, trust me, the first impression is created in 7 to 10 seconds. In that 7 to 10 seconds, he has already decided whether you are a person who will do any value add to him, or you are just out of those 10 people who have already come and met him, and which he said like, tata, bye bye, I am not dealing with you. Okay, so uska jo wo filtration hai, that he is already done in that 10 seconds. The next important thing is the script that you are using. Okay, generally what we do when we go and talk to the customer, the maximum okay, the detail introduction that I've seen is, first of all, that thought everybody says, first you sell yourself to the customer and then comes the product and the company, the services that company has to offer. I totally go by what you say. It is first you sell yourself, but then the pitch that you're using to sell yourself has to be really hard hitting. Now, when I say this, I've seen people doing an introduction like, hi, I'm Meenakshi from so and so here, and I'm here to discuss your investments. Please let me know, is it the good time to continue, blah, blah, blah. Okay. This way, there is nothing that I've created, or there is nothing that has actually impacted the customer and which can make him think that yes, Meenakshi is the person with whom I can do my business transitions. There is nothing that I've given to them. Wahi pe if I say, I'm Meenakshi Dubey coming from so and so organization, I've been in the industry for last 13 to 14 years. Okay, a very important and active member of so-and-so company, because I manage this much percentage of the entire client base. I manage this percentage of the entire company's net worth. So this is one of the activity, where I did recently. Okay, so there was this again, some of the well partners, so they have the customer care executives. So one of the day I just asked them, I said, what is the total business that you manage? And they say, ma'am, sorry, we have never calculated. People there with 5, 6 years experience, I am sure आप सब लोगों का तो बहुत ज़्यादा experience होगा. And then I told them, ठीक है, next meeting when we are meeting, I want everybody to know that what is the total percentage of business that they are mapped, and how many customers, locations, and what is the business volume that they are taking care of. They were really shocked to know that out of that 250 or 500 customer they are managing, they were actually managing portfolio of more than 50 crores. And now when I say this to the customer that I take care of 500 customers of SBI and I manage a portfolio of 100 crore, the impact that is being created in the customer's mind is different. Now he automatically feels ki yes, Meenakshi is somebody who is already managing a book of 100 crores with 500 valuable customers of SBI. She is probably one of the person who can take care of my investments. Apart from that, if I also share, what is my expertise, whether I'm, I have my expertise into mutual fund में भी categories होती है, or I am somebody who has the expertise in insurance or into the banking transactions, maybe a house loan kind of thing, right? Again, it adds a value to it. But the very most important thing, I manage customer all over India. Right. In fact, I have customers not only in India, but in other parts of the world as well, because I take care of the NR bucket as well. Right. 500 valuable customers, having a portfolio of more than 100 crore is what I manage. Automatically, I am different from what 10 other people he has met. Do you guys agree on this? A very strong pitch, guys. A very strong pitch. Once I've created this base, okay, the person knows that yes, now it is somebody the person with whom he is dealing is somebody who has a good experience in the industry and who has been managing people's money. And then I compare, ठीक है, मुझे 1 लाख invest करना है, I have to invest 1 lakh. This is somebody, who is managing 100 crores. So maybe yes, a right person for me to go ahead with. So that is where I say ki script is the most important thing. Now, when we talk to the customer, it is very, very important to understand what is the client's landscape. What is there in client's mind, okay, when it comes to investment? What does their world look like? For you and me, definitely, we know about insurance, we know about mutual fund, we know about CASA, we know about the asset product, the liability products, everything. But is my client aware of that? Probably yes, if a customer is from the BFSI industry, he might know these things in bits and parts, right? But let's say if he is somebody from the fashion industry, he doesn't know how the finance industry works, right? I need to explain him what it is all about. Okay, what is his measure of success, right? Maybe I am a person who has given best returns to my customer with the right asset allocation, right? But let's say there is somebody let's say I can read a name Murli. Okay, for Murli, out of all the ups and downs, volatility in the market, he feels sticky at 10. Okay, so when I see, right, what is my idea of success? Okay, now here Murli says, okay, for Murli it is like, out of the investment, if my investment is growing at 10%, it is great. But maybe Meenakshi is not able to give him 10%. I am somewhere hovering around between 7 to 8%. Has Murli got his desired result? The answer is no. Then what are the products that will help Murli to reach that 10% is something that I really need to think on. Okay, I need to think that what the customer is wanting, what are the things that he needs to avoid. There would be many customers. For many people, it is like investing into equities and mutual fund is one and the same thing. There will be so many people who might tell you, "Can I have invested in the equities? I've burned my fingers. Now I don't want to go ahead with the equities." But then what we are trying to sell them is we are trying to sell them a mutual fund, NSIP, which is the most safest and the disciplined mode of investment. So it is very much important for us to identify here that what is that he is wanting to avoid, and we need to tell him that what is the other route that we are taking. And trust me guys, all this thing is possible only when your customer talks. Your customer will only talk when you have the right rapport building with him, when you understand him, when you listen to him, when you are fully aware of what he's talking. So you see how everything is connected, right? Okay, if I understand the client's landscape, what is there in his mind, I will be in a position to give him the right products, right services that is required, right? Few scripting that we need to see is, I think we have already spoken about the script. Okay, importantly, setting up your workspace. Now I know probably maximum of participants here will be from sales, but trust me, our sales is the secondary part of our job. First is like fixing up the appointment, talking out to the customer on the call, and then going ahead and meeting them. So it is very, very important that I have a clear idea on my daily targets. Right, we get a monthly target. Right now, right from the day one, if I start thinking, "Kini month ka target itna hai," I can see the target this much. But then when I decide, no, let me just break into week wise. So that big target now has become smaller. So it is all about achieving those small milestones every week. And trust me, okay. So there are two ways of achieving target. Okay, I'll give you an example which we all will be able to connect. Okay, while we all were in college, we get this pocket money every month, right? So then there are two set of people, guys, who are rich in first 5 days of the month and then keep borrowing for the next 25 days. And then there are certain people, right, who will keep spending a lesser amount each day so that they don't have to beg, borrow, steal for the entire month. So same thing is applicable here also. If I am somebody who first week I say ki acha theek hai, now I have another 3 weeks to take care of my target. So let us just chill this week. We'll think about the target next week. Trust me guys, chilling is such an addictive thing that you might feel कि अरे इस week chill कर ले, अगले week भी chill कर लेते हैं, right? Maybe we take the reverse attitude. We say, let me just finish it off, and maybe that last 6 days or 5 days of the month I want to be in peace, because as it is, there is going to be a lot of stress around me. So it is better that I complete my target and then just try to relax. Now when I talk about this routine commitments and everything, checklist is very, very important, guys. What are the things that I'm doing on my calls? So now it is very, very important to evaluate calls. That we will see in the post-call thing. Okay, but that evaluation is very, very required. Mindfulness checker, we have already seen. Digital clock. Okay, making a folder is very, very important. Making a notepad is very, very important to note down the details of your customer. So while you're talking to the customer, Okay, though meeting them personally and knowing them better is added advantage, but to know them better, whatever they have told you on the call, it is very, very important for you to remember that. Now, humanly it is not possible. You speak around 10 to 15 customers every day. आप सवेरे 9 बजे किससे बात किया उसके बारे में 6 बजे if I'm going to ask you, you're going to forget it. So noting down those details are very, very important. You know what happens is, this generally happens, when in the beginning of the day you're charged up, you'll say, yes dude, today so I'm going to complete it. And trust me, after 3-4 calls have happened, you have noted down the details of 3-4 clients. Now you say कि अरे हाँ ठीक है अब आगे का तो हो ही जाएगा manage, and then we give up on this small basic activities. One again very classic example, guys. When we were kids, when our parents used to follow this routine of making us brush twice a day, okay, our cavities, tooth, jaw, gum, everything fit and fine. But now since we have taken the control, how many of this 230 or 250 people actually do brushing twice a time? Right? It is all about habit. And we need to develop these habits, guys. Because if you don't brush at night, what happens is sooner or later you are going to end up having cavity. So if you don't have a habit of knowing your customer, of noting down their details, sooner or later you are going to forget about them. Okay, 1 महीना हो गया, 1.5 महीना, you have nothing to remember about them. And then what happens is, the most important thing, guys, how it impacts our business. Okay, for me to complete my monthly target every month, there are 2 ways. Either I get business from my existing clients or I look for new customers. New customers definitely is always important, but if I have a good base of my existing customers and I have really holded those customers well, the burden for me to go and find out new business will always be less. But if I have this continuous withdrawals, redemptions from my existing customer, what is going to happen is the burden on my looking out for new customers is always going to be on a higher side. See, it is all about, घर का कोई भी सामान आता है, कोई भी इलेक्ट्रॉनिक होता है हमारे पास, एसी, ओके, इफ आई कंटिन्यूसली कीप सर्विसिंग इट, इट विल गिव मी अ better output. If I don't services it, okay, if I'm just pushing in hard to work on the same situation, what happens is it is going to run out of action. वो खराब हो जाने वाला है. Then what will I have to do? I'll have to buy a new AC entirely. So it is very important. The servicing part is very, very important, guys. Be it our own household products or be it our clients. Even if we are clients, we want somebody, right, who can, who calls us, who checks us, okay, in spite of whether I'm giving you the business or not. It is very, very important to stay connected. Going forward, let us see certain things during the calls. Okay, so now when we talk about during the call, communication is very, very important, guys. And when we talk about communication, okay, communication happens when there is receiving of messages and replying, right? That is the entire set of communication that we have. Okay, and during the call, that is the most important thing. Now, when I talk about completing the talk, first thing is, while you're saying, it is important for us to first listen to the customer, because if I listen, then only I'll be in a position to probe him. So when we talk about listening, there are 4 elements to it. Intention. What is my intention? Am I really trying to understand the customer? Okay, or while he's talking, मेरे दिमाग में it is constantly going on, okay, ठीक है, I just have to finish this deal, close it, get the check and walk out of here. If that is the intention, it is a short-lived intention. It is very important that I keep focusing. My reflections have to be there. My acknowledgement has to be there. The customer should feel that, yes, I am listening to him. So when I say this, it is important that we keep responding. Please mark my words. I said responding and I am not saying reacting, because reacting and responding are 2 different things. Okay, whenever I need a positive outcome, responding is something that will help me in getting a positive outcome. Reaction at times doesn't give me the desired output. I don't want to put it into any negative thing, but yes, reacting many a time does not give me the positive outcomes, wherein if I focus on responding, I get a positive outcome. Now, summarization. How many of you summarize your call, guys? When I say summarization, what do I mean? So So summarization on a call is very, very important, guys. Whatever we have spoken, okay, it is important that you summarize the call. So today, sir, as per our telephonic conversation, we have decided to meet on so and so date, and I would request, if we can have the details about, the products and services that we are going to offer you. And post discussion, we can see whether you like the product or not. So there is no compulsion. What we are looking forward is just a meeting, right? And when we go and meet the customer, whatever understanding we have done about the customers, about his family, it is important that we summarize it completely. Okay, so it is nothing but it gives me an assurity as a customer that the person who walked into me and who has spent like a half an hour, to whom I've given my valuable 30 minutes, is actually aware of what I am doing, what I am, and what are the important things in my life. Okay, so there are certain things which you have heard earlier also. Okay, few skills that will add to the empathetic listening is attending, acknowledging, very, very important. Acknowledging is very important, guys, because if you're not acknowledging it, okay, if you're quiet, the other person might feel, okay, I don't know whether I'm just talking to the rock and this talk. Or the customer might feel that iska to intention is just to get a business. So maybe, I don't want to give him the business. Reflecting, interpreting, summarizing, probing, giving feedback is also very, very important. Now, when we say, while we are talking to the customer, how do we give a feedback? Right? Feedback can be good and bad both. Feedback can be on the way how he has treated you. Feedback could be in terms of, checking his portfolio and telling them, okay, look, out of this your entire portfolio, this 10% is something which is giving you a negative return at this point of time. And what we need to do is just allocate this 10% into the right investments. And when the customer sees that this negative 10% is now started giving positive returns, trust me, the remaining 90% will walk up to you. But then you should have the confidence to do that. Okay, checking the perception, okay, being quiet when the customer is talking, it is very, very important, because many a times you must have seen people, okay, while like somebody is talking, they'll say, okay, what I am saying is, they'll completely crash into what you are saying and they want to say. And trust me, many a times, intentionally, unintentionally, हमसे भी हो जाता है. Okay. Few miscommunication and sins of speaking, no gossip, no negativity, no negative emotions, no negative words, very, very important. Okay, no exaggeration, no dogmatism, no assumption. These are certain things. In fact, I see when it comes to assumption, it is better that, there should be no assumption, no presumptions, whatever is there in your mind. Okay, it is better that you speak about it. If anything that you want to know about the customer or a person, it is better that you ask him rather than presuming or assuming things. It is better that you ask, that you talk. It somewhere gives the comfort to you and the other person as well. Now, that other person could be your friend, your colleague, your customer, or it can be anybody on the earth. The moment you give them the comfort to talk, you are a friend. And in our business, more than a relationship manager, more than a branch manager, more than a regional head manager or a national head manager, it is important that the customer feels that, we are somebody on whom he can rely when it comes to money. So basically, I always say this, it is important, or rather it should be our aim to be the one-stop solution when it comes to customers' any financial requirements, be it housing loan, be it investment, anything that comes to his mind in terms of money, like, he should straight away call us. If you have achieved that, then it is like, you are at the peak of the setting the relationship. Okay. So when we talk about the flow of the conversation, like when I'm talking to the customer, these are the 4 points that we need to keep in mind. Okay. We call it the flow of conversation, which is rasa. Receive information. So while you're receiving information, always appreciate. And one thing that is missing in all our lives, guys, today, be it personal or professional life, this appreciation. We have stopped appreciating people. Forget about appreciating people. We have stopped appreciating ourselves. If you are a person who keeps appreciating yourself, trust me, you will not look outside for this appreciation. and then it becomes a habit. If I can appreciate myself, I can appreciate others also. Trust me, it has some magic to it, complimenting three people every day on, you're looking good, you're looking so presentable, you're looking fitter, what a great color combination, what good knowledge you have about the subject. These are the things, which actually sets that positive aura, which is very, very important, guys. Okay. And while so there are certain kind of things, that people do when we talk about appreciation. So people start appreciating themselves, but then they start demeaning others. No. When it is appreciation, appreciate yourself yes. Then summarizing the entire thing is very, very important. Summarize the entire discussion and then always ask, is there anything that I have missed out? Is there anything, that I have not answered? And I feel one most important question that, we should be very confident in asking the customer and should not shy away is like, what are your expectations from your relationship manager? Or what are your expectations from me as your finance manager? It is very, very important to know what is there in their mind about you. Okay, so very important, ask this question, and trust me, when you ask this question on your own voluntarily, it will actually make them think about you more as a relationship manager. They will put what are the qualities that you have, how can you add more to their investments is where they will start looking forward, because we are going forward and asking them that what is their expectation from their relationship manager. And trust me, guys, not everybody does that. So if you are somebody who can do that, you are definitely, keeping yourself, or you're, somebody who is standing out of the crowd. Certain things, reflections, what we need to do after every call, very, very important. When I say this after every call, I don't literally mean like after every call, but yes, once in a week, this is something that we really need to do. Did I sound like a salesman? The most important question. Was it like a typical sales pitch? Did I do what are the value add that I've done to, these 5 customers in this week? Trust me, if you try to find answers to such questions, you are somebody, who is like, who are actually, you are designing your own path. Because not everybody likes to do this. People say, I already do 6 calls every day. What is else that I need to do? And then we also see, in spite of doing 6 to 7 calls every week, I am not able to reach the mark. I am not able to achieve my targets. I am not able to be in top 10 of that, right? I think more than 250, more than 300 people right now in this call, how many of you have been constantly in top 10 for at least 6 months? Very few. Very, very few. Right? Because what we do is we are getting into that monotonous habit of just coming to the office, doing those 6-7 calls every day and going back home. There is no scope of improvement. We are not looking at self-development. This I always keep telling people, we are pitching finance. We are pitching investment to our customers. But then are we investing in ourselves? Investment is not only in terms of money, it is in terms of knowledge, it is in terms of time as well. What is the knowledge development that I am doing for myself? Right? What is the investment that I am doing for myself? 3 very important investment in ourselves is knowledge, process, and product. Knowledge is the most important thing, guys. Most important thing, guys. Evaluating your calls. Did I do better? Many a time it happens, there are certain queries that we are unable to answer to the customer. And we say, we tell the customer that yes, we'll get back to you, and then we never get back to the customer. And somehow even that question is gone away with the wind. The next time we remember the same question is when somebody else is asking, and what happened is 3 months gone. 3 months ago, I did not know the answer of this question. Today, after 3 months, I'm still there because I did not try to find out what it is. Maximum is what I do. I try to ask my senior, and senior also says, yes, I'll get back to you. But then that never happens. So rather than, thinking that I should have gone for this answer, I should have looked, I should have tried to figure it out, I have a simple blame to give कि मैंने senior को पूछा, उसने नहीं बताया, बात हो गई खत्म. Right. Next thing that we need to always evaluate is, are there any scope of improvement? Today, maybe, my conversations are good, but am I able to connect with the customer? Okay. Do I remember, top 5 customer, do I remember their spouse and their kid's name also? That is important, right? That is important. When it comes to my own presentation, how do I create that first impression? What are the things that I need to change in myself? How can I make myself better? So there are certain things, there are certain knowledge-based things, and there are certain personality-based things, right? What can I do better? Am I keeping a track of my health? Because that is the most important thing. My body, my health should allow me or should give me that scope of another 30 minutes, another 40 minutes to invest into myself after doing the entire everyday mundane activities. Is that happening? Did I miss out anything based on the scripts or plans? What are the checklists? How many of you have a checklist with you? That when I go to the customer, these are certain 10 things that I need to talk to the customer. कितनों को याद है कि यार ये 10 पूरे चीज मैंने बात करी है? How many of you out of more than 250 people, how many of you have a checklist with you? It is not that कंपनी में या प्रोडक्ट्स वालों ने या सेल्स वालों ने या एचआर ने मुझे कोई चेकलिस्ट देना है. नो, इट इज हाई टाइम, because when we say business, we say give me my space and I'll work according to my own style, right? I need to enhance that style. Are we enhancing that style? Is a big question. Is there any checklist that I've kept for myself? Is there any checklist when it comes to weekly targets or monthly targets? Basically, what is the plan that I have for every month? When I sit on 10th of the month, I need to see where am I? Start हुआ है, start एक path design कर लो. Start 1st of the month, 31st, end of the month. In this path, when I have to see on 10th day, where am I? All these things, there are so many things that we can do. Because if I am somewhere on that path at a remarkable stage, it will give me more things to learn for myself also. There are certain annoying habits which, information that I missed out recording. ये सब possible है when I make that checklist. When I start evaluating my calls, that what are the things that I was unable to answer. Okay, what were the things which I was worried कि अगर ये discussion आ गया then I don't have any answer, or what are the things on which I think I need to develop my knowledge about the industry, my awareness in the industry. I need to understand where the industry is today about a particular thing. What did I get to know about a person, about my client? So these are all the things that I need to evaluate, maybe if not possible on a daily basis, at least on a weekly basis. In fact, that is something which we really need to do in terms of team also, because when we sit as a team, what happens is there's a lot of brainstorming that we can do. Probably, let's say if there are 10 people in team and there could be one question that everybody has to say, okay, this was the question which I was unable to answer, or this is something that I really want to know. And then when 10 people sit there and do their brainstorming, this is something, like 10 things coming out in a 1-hour discussion. And what you need to do is you need to make a note of it, right? In fact, this will give you the confidence next time when you're sitting with the customer and let's say, out of 4 or 5 FAQs he has just asked you to, it will give you the confidence to say, in fact, sir, to be very honest, I was expecting that you will at least ask me about this particular thing. But no matter, you have not asked me, but let me tell you on my own that, this is one important question that you should ask everybody, not only me, but other salespeople also who come and meet you. What happens is that automatically there is a confidence in the customer's mind saying, this guy is different. In fact, he is somebody who is thinking from, being in my shoes. That again gives that confidence and trust to the customer. Okay, he is the right person or she is the right person. And trust me, guys, this all is possible only when we do our basic things. Okay, when we have our focus on our own learning, apart from whatever we have to deliver to the client, apart from whatever products we have to pitch. Okay, these are so many things. Importantly, we all use social media, so it is important that we use it in the right manner. Try to go through the portfolio or the profiles of your customer, just to know what is their liking, what are the things, that they like, what are their hobbies, what are their favorite sports, favorite destinations. So this is something, which will help you take a break during that professional call also. Okay. And after a point of time, you will see that when you go meet a customer, if it is a 40-minute customer, 30 minutes, you spend up and all talking here and there, and 10 minutes is where you actually slip in your product and it is done. But then that has to be practice in that way. Okay. So quick recap. So stage by stage checklist, we saw 3 stages of call. One is the before the call, wherein the most important thing is, to taking care of your vocal cords, ecosystem, the desk and everything. Okay. Scripting your entire introduction and being mindfully being there, okay, being present in the moment. During the call, certain things that we need to do is active listening, avoiding speaking when the customer is talking, the tonality in which I am talking, using positive words, very, very important, don't forget that, and rasa. Yes, and then after the call, very, very important questionnaire. Okay, this questionnaire is for ourselves. Okay, the checklist is for ourselves. And when I say logs are basically recording the activities. As I said, evaluating our calls once in a week. What went well? What could have gone better? Right. So it is like any role plays that we do, and then we try to evaluate this. Okay, even if you don't have people who are ready to do this with you, but please make it a habit for your own self. Okay, of how your week went. Okay, just try, and it will, trust me, it will also give you the chance to unwind, so that you end your week here and that the next week has to start on a different note. Okay, so great. That is all from my side. Thank you so much. We are open for questions. If there are any questions, we can take it up.
Ma'am, I would like to ask one thing, that when a client is not showing any interest in the bank, let's say, even though we have done a lots of groundwork on that client and we have prepared, but sometimes what happens, client is not showing any interest, related to the particular bank. Then any other ideas which you want to share with us?
Particular brand you saying, right? A particular bank.
I mean, when I am just let's say XYZ bank and showing I'm working here, and client is not showing at all interest, is not ready to listen about that. I mean, even though we are sending a mail, we are sending updates and all. Any other ideas where we can approach to that client, because we don't want to miss that client. Ultimately, that client is. So,
Yes.
What other options? I mean, how we can approach to them? Another.
Yes. So what you're trying to ask is, Neha, whatever update you are sending, it is not really enticing the customer, and he doesn't feel, there's anything interesting that you have to offer him, right? So how do you convert that client? See, first of all, the regular updates that we keep on sending, okay, it is very much important. As I said, in one of the slides, that it is important to understand the client's landscape. Okay, maybe, the updates and all that we are sending is actually adding no value to him. Okay, so what is important is, for me to first understand what are the things, how I can do a value add to him. While I'm going through the entire portfolio, it is important for me to study the portfolio, understand his transactions, understand which are his preferred products, right? Basis that, many a times I'll share a very interesting thing with you, a similar kind of a case that has come across. Okay, so we ask, it is important that you actually try to understand more about the customer, because here he is not giving you any chance to build that rapport building with him, right? So somehow, one of same thing we said to one of the RNs, and what he did is, he started following that customer on the Facebook or something. Okay, this was a Calcutta based case that I'm sharing with you, and somehow the RM figured out that there is Mohan, he is a Mohan Bagan, he's from the Mohan Bagan fan club. Okay, so what happened is, one of the meetings, he just said the customer that, sir, I would just want to come and meet you, because apart from the banking services, there is a lot of common interest also that we share. So that day the RM went and he just spoke about Mohan Bagan fan club and everything, and that is from where the the relationship was built up. So it is important to understand, first of all, see whether whatever updates you are sending, is that doing any value add for him, or it is just, you are sending and it is just hitting his inbox, but then the open ratio is not there only. That means whatever you are sending is not doing any value add to him. So first you need to figure out what are the things that can do value add. If you see, try to read his portfolio. If his investment is purely into FD only, then you can talk about, how this money can be utilized, or, what are the services that you need to offer him. Okay, many times it also happens, that you arrange a small gathering for such customers, who are not willing to give you an opportunity. You invite them to the bank, for a small celebration kind of a thing. This is something, that weird idea that are coming to my mind, which you really need to think about. So first and the foremost important thing is, you need to see what value add you can do to them in their portfolio. If you try to figure that out, maybe he will be the customer who will open up going forward.
Ma'am, sometimes it happens that due to previous dissatisfaction of the customer, they tend to go on the edge of abusing. So, as we are in the professional arena, how to handle that delicate situation?
See, unfortunately, this goes really ugly, okay, when due to the past experience, okay, or the past mess up that has been created. Now there could be different stories to it, right? When the client will present it to you, he will always say that the mistake was of the previous RM. And then, since he wants to vent out his anger, he tends to abuse you. But then here, we really need to draw a line. Okay, that though we are the relationship managers, but he has no authority to speak to the RM in an abusive language. Okay, so first of all, here I think one thing that we really need to stop is, we need to create that differentiation. Okay, listen, Mr. So and so, we totally agree that, there have been a bad experience with you, but then that is somebody who is done by the other person. Okay, and abusing us is something, that even you are going to cross your lines, which is not going to have a healthy relationship going forward. Rather than, playing this game, it is important that we look at the issue and we try to sort it out. You tell us, okay, as your current relationship manager, what can I do? Okay, maybe if required, I'll go couple of steps ahead to sort this problem out for you. But you also need to understand that we are also an employee and you are also a customer. Okay, so you really need to set this very clear. Yes, if you seek solution, we are here. If you think abusing us can solve the problem, that is not going to happen. If you look for a solution, we can talk further. See, many a times, what happens is we also need to draw a line. Okay, because customer, unfortunately, because of the quotes that we say, ki customer is the king, customer also starts believing that only. But then there is where, the self-respect also comes, and then you need to draw a line very subtly that, sir, if you're looking for a solution, I'm here to offer you a solution, because whatever has happened in the past is gone. I cannot redo anything, but yes, I am looking forward to sort out the issue for you, is what we can do. I hope I have tried to answer your question.
Remember, to add on to what Meenakshi said, let us do remember this, that there is no revert which cannot go politely. So even if we are, letting the client know that, this line cannot be crossed, we can really be polite about it. We need not stoop to a level where if somebody is very angry or upset with us, we need not, the tonality thing that Meenakshi mentioned, we need not change our tonality. We can be polite and we can still make sure that our point, is pretty much with the client. So
exactly, and then when we say, we are here to offer the solution, so let us think and come out with a solution rather than playing this game. It is as I said, tonality and positive words help a lot in handling such situations. So yeah, that is it.
Please subscribe and press